Right now, you could stand in your bathroom under a soft artificial light and look at your own skin without thinking about sunlight at all. You might reach for a sunscreen bottle before leaving the house. You might notice a darker mark from last summer. You might compare your face to a photo on your phone, to a beauty ad, to a social label, to a category someone else invented long before you were born. In that mirror, skin can feel personal. It can feel like identity. It can feel like beauty, history, pride, shame, status, difference, belonging, or distance. But the mirror is a very modern object. The light above it is artificial. The glass is manufactured. The sunscreen is chemical technology in a plastic bottle. The room protects you from wind, heat, cold, insects, and the full force of the sky. For most of human history, there was no bathroom mirror. There was only skin. And above it, the sun. Before skin color became something people judged, named, ranked, sold products around, or turned into social meaning, it was doing something older and more physical. It was negotiating with light. Now imagine the same human body, but far away from the bathroom. No sunscreen. No glass windows. No vitamin pills. No modern clothing covering most of the body. No indoor life. No refrigerator full of fortified milk. No clinic explaining deficiency. No weather app warning about UV levels. Just exposed skin, sweat, dust, heat, grass, stone, and a sun that did not care what humans believed about themselves. Ancient humans did not meet sunlight as a lifestyle choice. They met it as a force. In open landscapes, sunlight could burn, damage, dry, and blind. It could heat the body until the head throbbed. It could pour down for hours while people walked, searched, carried children, followed tracks, dug for roots, or watched the horizon for danger. But sunlight was not only an enemy, it was also necessary. Inside the skin, certain wavelengths of ultraviolet light help begin the production of vitamin D, a substance tied to bones, immunity, and basic biological function. Too much ultraviolet radiation could damage living tissue and threaten important molecules. Too little could weaken the body in quieter ways. So the ancient problem was not simple. Human skin had to block the sun, and it had to let the sun in. So here's the question most people never think to ask. Why did humans become different colors? And what does that reveal about the ancient body we still carry beneath the modern meanings we place on it? The answer is not just about appearance. It changes how we think about sunlight, migration, survival, reproduction, climate, and the strange way modern life turned an ancient biological system into a social mirror. Skin color began as a living technology, not a decoration. Not a label, not a ranking. A technology built without a designer, shaped over deep time by bodies moving through different skies. It was a shield, a filter, a sensor, and a memory of where human beings had lived, how much sun reached them, and what their bodies needed to survive long enough to have children who could survive too. Most people imagine human skin color as if it belongs to fixed groups, clean categories, simple boxes. This person belongs here. That person belongs there. This color means one thing. That color means another. Modern life loves categories because categories are easy. They fit on forms, screens, census boxes, beauty charts, advertisements, and arguments. They make the world look more organized than it really is. But biology is not that neat. Archaeology and genetics tell a stranger story. Human pigmentation did not evolve once in a straight line, and it does not divide humanity into simple blocks. It shifted, mixed, adapted, and changed across landscapes. Similar skin tones could emerge through different genetic roots. Different traits could appear together in combinations that would surprise modern eyes. The popular picture is too flat. The real story is not about human beings becoming separate kinds of people. It is about one species carrying many local solutions to the same ancient problem. Light. Picture early humans under equatorial sun. The body is upright. The arms are moving. Sweat runs down the back. Much of the dense body hair that protects other primates is reduced, leaving the skin more exposed to the air and the sky. That exposed skin helps with cooling, but it also creates a new vulnerability. The surface of the body has become an interface. It is where heat leaves. It is where sunlight enters. It is where injury begins. In high ultraviolet environments, darker pigmentation rich in melanin offered protection. Melanin is not just color. It is a biological filter. It absorbs and scatters ultraviolet radiation. It helps protect cells from damage. It shapes how much light penetrates into living tissue. This sounds simple. It is not. Because skin was not merely covering the body. It was managing a dangerous trade. In tropical environments with intense ultraviolet radiation, the pressure was not only about avoiding a painful burn. Researchers such as Nina Jablonski and George Chaplin have argued that one important pressure involved protecting folate, a vitamin needed in cell division, reproduction, and early development. Ultraviolet radiation can contribute to folate breakdown, and in a world without supplements or hospitals, the loss of such a molecule could matter deeply. Think about what that meant. A child growing in the womb. Sperm production. Cells dividing. A body trying to reproduce in a hard landscape. The sun was not just touching the skin, it was reaching into the future. But that was only one side of the ancient equation. Now move away from the equator. Imagine human groups traveling over generations into places where the sun sits lower in the sky, where winters stretch longer, where clouds and latitude reduce the amount of ultraviolet B that reaches the skin. The problem changes. The same melanin that protects in strong sunlight can also reduce the skin's ability to use UVB to begin vitamin D production. In low UVB regions, especially at higher latitudes, lighter pigmentation could help the body capture enough of that weaker seasonal light. Here, sunlight becomes rare. Not absent. Rare. Imagine winter in northern latitudes before glass, central heating, electric lamps, and supplements. The sky is pale. The days are short. Clothing and shelter protect against cold, but they also reduce how much skin meets the sun. Food may help, depending on diet, especially where fish and animal fat are available, but not every landscape offers the same menu. In these places, skin did not need only to defend. It needed to receive. That is the elegance of the adaptation. Darker pigmentation was not more primitive. Lighter pigmentation was not more advanced. They were different balances under different skies. But here is where it gets more interesting. Ancient DNA has complicated the simple stories people once told about Europe, ancestry, and appearance. One of the most striking examples is Nabrania 1, an approximately 7,000-year-old Mesolithic hunter-gatherer from northwestern Spain. Genetic analysis suggested that he carried ancestral variants in several genes associated with skin pigmentation, meaning that light skin like that common in many modern Europeans was not yet universal there. The same analysis suggested he likely had dark pigmentation and non-brown eyes. Place yourself in that cave region. A hunter-gatherer moving through the forests and mountains of Mesolithic Iberia. Not a cartoon ancestor. Not a modern racial category projected backward. A real human life, with a face that may not fit modern expectations. That matters because it breaks the lazy mental habit of imagining the past as a mirror of the present. The people who lived before farming, before nations, before modern identities, carried combinations of traits that do not map cleanly onto the labels people use now. The past is not obedient. It does not arrange itself for our comfort. And the evidence grows even stranger when you look across ancient Eurasia. Studies of ancient genomes show that alleles associated with lighter pigmentation did not all rise at the same time or in the same way. Some variants became common through migration. Others show signals of selection. Hunter-gatherers, early farmers, and steppe-associated populations contributed different pieces to the changing appearance of later Europeans. This was not a single transformation. It was a moving system. People moved. Diets changed. Farming spread. Winters remained. UVB still varied with latitude. Genes mixed inside families long before anyone had words for the identities modern people would later fight over. The body was adapting to ecology. The mind now tries to turn that ecology into meaning. And Africa, too, refuses the shallow story. People often speak of African pigmentation as if it were one thing. But genetic research has shown that skin color variation within Africa is deeply complex. Some studies of diverse African populations have found new genetic variants associated with pigmentation and have emphasized that the genetics of skin color cannot be reduced to a few European-discovered genes. That detail matters. Because Africa is not a background. It is the deep library of human variation. Humanity's oldest lineages carry a wide range of pigmentation-related genetic histories. Variants associated with both darker and lighter pigmentation have deep roots. Skin color did not begin as a modern map with sharp borders. It began as a shifting inheritance in populations, shaped by sunlight, migration, local environments, and time. The deeper you look, the less simple it becomes. And maybe that is the point. Your skin is not just a surface. It is an organ negotiating with the world. Even now, under your clothes, under your ceiling, under the soft glow of indoor light, your body still carries that ancient negotiation. Melanocytes still produce melanin. UV exposure still changes biological signals. Vitamin D still depends partly on the relationship between light, skin, diet, latitude, season, age, and behavior. Your nervous system may live in the modern world. Your skin still remembers the sky. This is the human mechanism hidden inside the mirror. Melanin acts like a filter. More of it can provide stronger protection against ultraviolet radiation, especially in environments where UV is intense and constant. Less of it can allow more UVB to penetrate when sunlight is weaker, supporting vitamin D production under low UV conditions. But the mechanism is not just chemical. It is psychological now. Because human beings do not only see skin. They read it. They attach stories to it. They use it to decide who is familiar, who is foreign, who is beautiful, who is threatening, who belongs, who does not. A biological adaptation becomes a social signal. A survival interface becomes a mirror for fear, pride, desire, hierarchy, and memory. That is the strange tragedy. Your body evolves skin color in conversation with sunlight. Modern society often reads it as if it were a verdict. But your cells do not know those stories. They do not know beauty standards. They do not know census boxes. They do not know the insults, fantasies, borders, advertisements, or histories that humans later placed on the surface of the body. They know photons. They know pigment. They know repair. They know the ancient rule: protect what must be protected, receive what must be received. And there is something quietly humbling about that. Ancient humans did not have our medicine, our glass, our sunscreen, our supplements, our climate-controlled rooms, or our ability to cross from one UV environment to another in a single airplane flight. They had less control. But their bodies were in more constant conversation with the world that shaped them. They felt the season directly. They knew shade as relief, sun as danger, warmth as gift, exposure as risk. Their skin was not hidden from the environment in the way ours often is. It was pressed against wind, smoke, water, dust, blood, cold, and light. Modern life protected us from much of that. And that protection is real. It is good that children can receive vitamin supplements when needed. It is good that sunscreen can reduce damage. It is good that people can live longer, safer lives indoors, protected from exposure that once could injure or kill. But comfort has a cost. It can make us forget what the body is doing. It can make the oldest parts of us feel like mere appearance. The real lesson is not that ancient humans had different skin colors. The real lesson is that skin color was never just color. It was a survival interface, a shield, a sensor, a compromise, a memory of sunlight. The obvious idea is that skin color is mainly about race, beauty, or identity. That is the modern layer. The deeper truth is older. Before skin color was social, it was environmental. Before it was judged, it was useful. Before it was turned into a label, it was a living negotiation between the body and the sun. And the most unsettling part is this. Modern humans often treat skin as if it explains the person beneath it, when in reality, it records something far less moral and far more ancient. Latitude, ultraviolet radiation, migration, diet, time, chance, adaptation. Your ancestors did not choose the sunlight that shaped them. They endured it. They moved through it. They survived inside it. Go back to the bathroom mirror. The light above you is not the sun. The bottle on the counter is not ancient. The glass in front of you is not neutral, because every mirror carries the meanings your world has taught you to see. But look again. Look past the categories. Look past the beauty language. Look past the social noise. Your skin is not just the thing the modern world comments on. It is part of the ancient body that carried your lineage through deserts, forests, coasts, mountains, winters, migrations, hunger, birth, illness, and light. It is easy to forget that because modern life separates us from the forces that shaped us, we step from homes to cars to offices. We check UV indexes on phones. We buy sunscreen in stores. We take vitamin D from a capsule. We cover the body in fabric and then judge the uncovered parts under artificial light. We have gained protection. We have gained choice. We have gained knowledge. But we have also gained distance. And in that distance, we sometimes mistake an adaptation for an identity, a biological gradient for a boundary, a survival tool for a social weapon. The technology changed. The need did not. The body still has to live between too much and too little. Too much sun, too little sun, too much meaning, too little understanding. Your skin is not a simple answer. It is an ancient question still visible on the surface of the body. A question asked by sunlight, answered by migration, carried by generations, and reflected back at you every time you stand under a bathroom light and think you are only looking at yourself. You are not only looking at yourself. You are looking at weather made flesh. You are looking at a map with no borders. You are looking at survival, written so quietly that modern life almost taught you to miss it. Your ancestors did not just live under the sun. They became part of its memory. And that memory is still here, on you.